considered as population. So, what is population? A group of interacting individuals of the same species. A group of interacting individuals. So, two things: they are the individuals, they are interacting, and they are of same kind or same type. That is the population. So all the human being can be considered as population of the earth. All the human being in Bangladesh can be considered as the Bangladeshi population.
They
Okay.
could have just destroyed the
Community.
filters.
As long as the
Yes.
installation
Sorry to
remains
interrupt
intact,
you.
the
Yes.
contamination is
I
reversible.
think
The
we
King Master
haven't
cares
gone
less about
through the
lives
lecture.
and more
Yeah.
about
Today,
production
today I break the sequence. It's not a
Oh, okay.
problem at all.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I got confused. That's why.
No. Thank
Sorry.
you. Thank you very much for the question. Thank
Okay.
you. So it's not a problem if I break the sequence. All are same. We'll go through. Okay. Um, so community, it's a group of individuals. So community consists of all population of different species of plants, animals, and microorganisms and everything. So
I
if
keep
we
trying to
consider
contact the
the
other climbers,
community
get help.
of a
No
pond,
luck so far.
so in that
Maybe
community
they're
we'll
laying low.
consider fish,
Maybe.
insects,
They're quite
and
literally
say for
laying
example
low on the
turtle,
ground,
crocodile.
dead.
So
How do
different
you
types
know?
of
I've seen the
individuals,
bodies.
different types of
Some
creatures
cameras
can be
around the
considered
base
under
still
community.
operational.
But what is the difference between
Some
community and
cameras around the
population?
base are
Population
still
considers
operational.
only the same type or same
The
kind of
climbers have
organisms.
been expunged.
So ecosystem. Ecosystem, it's a system of a community of different species interacting with one another and with their physical environment. And most important thing, why we are interacting with other organisms and with our physical environment, because we have the exchange, we have the flow, we are having matter and energy in a particular area. So ecosystem is a system, it's a very complex system where a community is interacting with one another and with their physical environment in terms of matter and energy. Matter means food, or matter means oxygen, carbon dioxide. Okay, so matter and energy in a particular area, that is ecosystem. So you already know what is biosphere. The biosphere where we consider all the living creatures. So biosphere, in other words, can be said as the sum of all ecosystems. So what is habitat? Habitat is our home where we live. So this is the very simplistic explanation of habitat, that is home where we live. But actually habitat is a place where we live, and that place is capable to provide us all the necessities to survive. I repeat, habitat is the home or the place where we live and which is capable of providing all the necessities to survive the life. Okay, that is the habitat. So classification of ecosystem in the world, there are different types of ecosystem. In a major ecosystem can be composed of uh, a number of minor ecosystem. That means under a large ecosystem, hundreds of small ecosystem can act. Okay, so depending on the origin, there are two types of ecosystem: natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. In the natural ecosystem, we can consider Sundarban forest,
Warning.
tropical
Air filtration
rainforest,
system
Sahara
offline.
desert, Atlantic
Contamination
Ocean.
imminent.
Right, but
We're
artificial
late.
ecosystem
Let's turn
is,
back before it gets
say for
deadly.
example,
You
the
said I'm
cream
immune.
cultivation
So you
and
were
cultivation
listening.
field,
To all
then
personnel,
pond, farm
evacuate
ponds. These
immediately
are
or seek
artificial, which
emergency
are
hazard
man-made.
suits.
Okay,
They
so in
turned off the
terms
main
of their
rotor, but
location,
there's still time to
ecosystems
restart
can
it.
be found
Show me the
in the
way.
atmosphere, in the forest, in the mountain, in the
People are
desert,
weak,
grassland,
desperate. They need
in
us to
rural
meet
area,
them,
in
not
urban
the other
area.
way
So
around.
based on location, there are different types of ecosystems. So depending on different places, different ecosystem, and different ecosystem actually work in different
Ready
way.
yourself for
So
what's
we
coming.
find
You can't
ecosystems
afford to be distracted.
both on land and
My
water.
memory's not
The
coming back.
ecosystem which we
There's
find
no
in the
guarantee
water,
it ever
that is
will.
called aquatic ecosystem.
Don't worry. I'm
So we
here to tell
have
you everything
freshwater
you need to
ecosystem
know.
and we have salty or marine ecosystem. So the ecosystem which can survive in the salty water, and that is the marine ecosystem that is found in the ocean, and freshwater ecosystem, ponds, lakes, waterfronts. These are the freshwater ecosystem. So if we consider the structure of the ecosystem, broadly, very broadly, we can consider two types of components in the ecosystem, that is abiotic or non-living components and biotic or living components. That is very easy because in the first lecture we we understood about the two types of components in the world, that is one is abiotic or non-living and another is biotic or living components. We are under the living components and the non-living things are which doesn't have life. So the very basic idea, that's why I'm going a bit faster. Ecosystems are controlled by both external and internal factors. So actually, without the external factors, ecosystem cannot run, and without the internal factors, ecosystem cannot. Okay, so both the external and internal factors are very important and fundamental for the survival of an ecosystem. So what are the external factors? Firstly, solar radiation. Without solar radiation, no ecosystem in the world. There is no ecosystem with the solar radiation, which can be considered under climate. Okay, parent material. What is the parent material? Parent material is actually related to the soil, the very old or very ancient landmass or rock materials. And we have understood about the weathering process. So we understood the igneous rock. Igneous rocks are the very pre-existing rock or very ancient rock. So actually, igneous rock is considered as the parent material. So this the parent from where the office springs come. So in terms of parent material in the world, we consider igneous rock as the parent material. So different types of igneous rock can give birth to different types of other rocks, other soil types. Okay, so we know we find ecosystem in soil, in water, in pond, everywhere. So if you consider the soil ecosystem, so different types of soil is actually related to the different types of parent material. Okay, so if we consider the igneous rock as the parent material, the most ancient
Making
one,
the outside air
different types
breathable
of
is a
igneous rock will
complicated
give birth
process.
to different
It
types
has to
of
be done
soil,
without
and in different
compromising
types of
Dharma's
soil we
outer
would find
integrity.
different types of
The
ecosystem.
burst made
That's
a
why
mess of
this
the
is the
Earth's
external
atmosphere.
factors. So solar radiation or climate,
The
parent
filtering
material,
systems were designed to be
topography.
durable and virtually
Topography
foolproof,
is the physical
unless, of course,
appearance
some
of a
fool
particular
decides to
landmass.
turn them off.
That is also an important factor for an ecosystem. So, time and biota. What is time? Actually, ecosystem we consider with a particular passage of time or a long passage of time, because ecosystem is not static, it is a very dynamic thing, and with the passage of time ecosystem is constantly changing. For example, with 1,000 years or in a million years of time span, one type of ecosystem can be changed into another type of ecosystem, right? So that's why it is said that ecosystem can be controlled by the time. We have to consider time as the external factor, because when we consider the change of ecosystem, we actually consider that how long it took to change,
Slow down.
to happen these
This one
changes in
is
the
different.
ecosystem.
How?
That is the time.
One way
So
to find
internal factors
one way
are
to find out.
In the ecosystem you would find different processes, chemical processes, physical processes.
Close
So
combat in plants.
decomposition is
Crude
very
ones.
important because the dead bodies, the living creatures, after having their life, at one point they will die and their dead body will be decomposed. So from that dead body, from the decomposed body, the energy, the carbon
Get used
matter
to them.
which was
Your
stored
opponent's
in the living
capabilities
body,
are going
it
to
will go
improve
back
as we
to
climb
the
higher.
soil,
Mara
to
is
the
saving
parent
her most
material.
dangerous
So
hardware for
decomposition
her
is
most trusted
very, very
soldiers.
important. Today we are living, to living creature, we are surviving today, but one day we will die,
I've managed to
and the
take some measurements,
carbon
Jack.
and the energy and
It's not looking
everything
good.
that is
The level
stored
of
in our
radiation in the
body,
air is
it will go
rapidly
back to the
increasing.
soil, and
People will soon
all
feel
the
the
things we
effects.
have taken, that is from the soil. So uh, we our body would be decomposed, that is decomposition process. And in by this process, all the carbon matters energy will go back to the soil. That's why it is said that it is a very important factor, internal factor in the ecosystem. Competition, disturbance, succession. Disturbance, for disturbance we can consider, if we I say man-made disturbance, there can be a war, there can be mining accident in a mining field, there can be pollution. So due to this disturbance, ecosystem, the activity or the efficiency of an ecosystem really varies. So, and for physical disturbance, we can consider a disaster. Okay, so due to a disaster, a whole ecosystem can die. It cannot function anymore, or one type of ecosystem can be changed into another type of ecosystem. So, what is root competition? Actually, we see in our life, we see the competition between human beings, but it is true for all other organisms in the world. The plants, they are also competing for food. The animals, they are also competing for food. So in this world, actually, everyone is competing with each other. So the root competition, with the limited food access or the limited food storage, the roots or the plants who are competing better, they would survive better comparing to others who are not competing well. Okay, so that is the competition. These are the internal factors, what we see in the ecosystem. Oh, last but not the least, succession. What is succession? Succession means here time is a very important factor. I said that time is one of the external factors. So what is succession? With the long passage of time, with the change, of course there is change of environmental factors, there is a change in atmosphere, change in soil. So considering all these environmental changes, one ecosystem can be converted to another ecosystem. Maybe in 2022, we see a big grassland in Bangladesh. But after
I'll try to
1,000 years
evacuate the
or
sector.
after
Get as many
million
civilians
years,
as I can to go
the
to 4th and 6th
grassland
before
can
it's
be
too late.
converted
Stay
into
put.
a
I'll make it.
forest area or a bushy shrubs area. Okay, so succession means one community is taking over the land by another community. One community is dying out, they are losing, and they
It's no
are
use
giving
anyway.
the land or
The
the
gates are locked tight. No
resources
one's
to
getting
other
out.
Mara's
communities.
delusional.
But in
I'm
simple,
stupid.
with the long passage of time, thousands of years or million years, one community is dying out or one community is converting into other community. This